Hey, if you are a $1 million founder, why does it feel like the more you grow, the worse everything gets? You can't take a break without your inbox exploding. Your team stalls without you, and every big hire still needs your constant handholding. And if you don't fix it, the cost isn't just slower growth. It's your freedom, your health, your relationships, and so much more. You wake up 5 years from now, exhausted, realizing you've built a prison, not a business. Scaling isn't just about adding more revenue. It's about choosing, evolving into a true CEO, or getting trapped in grind mode until burnout forces the choice for you. Hey, I'm Nicholas, and I've built high-performing teams and revenue-generating processes in 8- and 9-figure bootstrap companies that scale without founder dependence. The founders who break free, they just don't work harder. They upgrade who they are. And today, I want to show you the exact system that separates the $1 million founders who stalls out from the $100 million CEOs who scales with ease. Now, does this resonate with you? One, you cannot take a break from running the company. Second thing, you're always exhausted from constantly pushing your team forward. Third thing, your team consistently underdelivers on results. And fourth, every single decision requires your approval. And lastly, you are overwhelmed by pressure from all directions. Now, after working with so many founders, what people always think is the root cause is that one is the founder is not good enough, or that the second thing is the team is not good enough. Now, the major challenge with this is that this places the blame or pressure on the person. The real root cause is not about that. The real root cause is that one, as you grow, as you scale the company, your role as a founder or a C-level executive becomes different. Instead of an operator, someone that implements, you become someone else, in which I'll talk more about it in a bit. The second thing is that there's lacking of system thinking mindset. And lastly, to enable that, you need a champion, someone in the company to drive the system-oriented culture. And this is what this YouTube video is all about. We want to show you how to go from founder-led to system-led growth. Now, there are 5 steps to this. Step number 1 is that you need to install the investor mindset. What is a job of a C-level right now? Be the founder or the COO or someone else, right? The job of a C-level is to one, set the vision, what you want to build, and where you're trying to go. The second thing is you need to build a culture. A lot of founders talk about this. It's the softest thing, but a lot of people kind of miss it because it's not fancy. But we'll talk more about it in a bit. And the third thing is resource allocation, which is the most important thing for a founder. Now, what I want you to think about is basically this. You need to think like a portfolio manager. You need to start questioning which initiatives, people, or processes will create sustainable long-term value for your investors or for yourself or for the team. And this requires a different skill set that transcends the functional expertise like marketing and sales. Now, there are 3 different types of resources that you want to optimize. Number 1 is people, and I put it as number 1 because this is the most important thing beyond the other resources that you see on the screen. You should be building a high-performing teams through culture, development, and strategic hiring. The second thing is time and attention, okay? You need to learn how to focus on high-leverage activities that only you can do. And lastly is money. This is self-explainable. We need to think about how we can fund strategic initiatives that aligns with the long-term goal. All right. Now, step number 2 is defining the culture. Does this resonate with you? There might be something inside you that always asks this question. No one takes initiative without being asked, or that my team is not good enough, or like, what are they doing? Why are we not delivering on results? Does that sound familiar? And the thing is that these are not management issues. They are fundamentally values misalignment. And this is the lesson I've learned living in Japan. If you look at the guy on the right-hand side, he's a sushi chef. And when I asked him how long he has been doing that, he said, I've been doing that since I was 18 years old. He's 36 right now. So he has been doing it for 18 years. And he has been doing the same thing over and over and over again. And the values that they have and the culture that they have in Japan is that they master the craft. And if that's the value and that's the culture, mastering the craft means that you take extraordinary care for the things that you do, be it a product like a service or anything else. And because of that, you're able to build superior products. And with superior products, you're able to get more loyal customers and hence sustainable growth. Values are not an abstract concept. They are a resource allocation decision. in which I'll show you more in a case study in a bit. Most leaders see cultural values as soft concept, but I've discovered that they're the hardest driver of operational results. All right, here's the real life case study. I'm hiring for a writer. All right, and the first thing I do is not go to Upwork or go to ask like my friends who are the writers they know and finding these people. The first thing that I've done, and you can take a look at it on the left hand side, is that I first define the values of my company. What do my company value? Number one is I need them to be deeply curious. Number two is that they need to have high standards for the work that they do. And lastly, they need to be proactive. I hold myself accountable to these values as well. Now, going back to this, when I say values are not abstract concept, they are a resource allocation decision. What does that mean? In this case, when I say I want to find people who are deeply curious, it means that these people will find more solutions if we have problems. And just like anything in life, you always have problems, right? So when they are deeply curious, they will find solution and hence will be able to solve the problem and have more revenue. Second thing is that high standards delivers quality work and hence increases customer retention. And proactive teams execute quickly because they're able to capture opportunities. So can you see how when you define this value, it basically have second order effects and it has downstream positive impacts to the thing that you do? Now, the flip side is that companies prioritizing short-term gains over quality, they would spend years trying to fix technical debts or reputation damage and customer churn. In the absence of these values, clearly defined values, companies, founders are just attracted to tactics after tactics and they're just not seeing beyond what they're seeing in the short term. And it means that they'll incur long-term costs. So when hiring a writer who shares this value, I in some way de-risk the investment already. If they have this value in place, I know that they will do a great work, which means that I'll have an amazing ROI. And in this case, in terms of process, I've tested 3 writers, okay? And I've written down the values. I didn't tell them about it. The first writer, I pay her like $250 per post. The second writer is $100 per post. And the last writer is $40 per post. And guess who won? And I hire based on values. And the person that has that values is the person that charges me around $40 per post. And because she has the values that we share, his work is actually the best of all 3. And her attitude is absolutely amazing. Okay. Step number 3 is to streamline your KPI. Why? It's all about 2 things. One is about driving performances. And second thing is all about accountability. When you define your KPI, okay, and someone owning the KPI, meaning it creates accountability. Every person knows exactly what they're responsible for. And when you have visible matrix, you're able to drive performance because everything is being shown on the dashboard. You can come up with any goals, quarterly, yearly, or 6 months, whatever that goal is. When you write down the goal and you assign a owner to that, the person automatically knows that they're responsible for it. And when you have clear targets, you have clear execution. And nobody argues with data, yeah? And lastly, performance becomes predictable. You can measure it, you can manage it, and you can multiply anything that works. Step number 4 is to hire innovators and leaders. I don't want to confuse you, but this might be just jargons. This is basically based on a book by my leadership coach. It's called Phenomenal Teams by Gary Dooley. He's my leadership coach. And he categorizes employees by 4 different brackets. Number 1 are innovators. They are the A+ players. And these are the visionaries who transform the entire organization. And what do you do with them? You basically develop more innovators. You hire more of them. And the next level is leaders. These are A players. They are high performers who elevate both their work and the people around them. What do you do with them? You nurture more of them or you hire more of them. Now, there's also contributors, the B players. These are people who are reliable. They meet expectation, but they never exceed them. And what do you do with them? You keep them running the operations, but you aim to elevate them to leader by giving them more training and shifting the perspective and giving them more projects and more experience. And lastly, you have passengers. These are C players. These are people who contributes nothing meaningful and actually drains resources. And what do you do with them? You simply let them go. Now, the trick here is basically this. If you want to go from founder-led to system-led, And as I mentioned, the first resources that is the most important are your people. And looking at this structure over here, you want to hire more innovators and leaders. You might have some contributors, and that's okay because you still need these people to do some of the work, but never hire passengers. And if you find yourself having more passengers in your company, and you can basically play around with the composition. Do I have more passengers? Do I have more contributors? Do I have more leaders or innovators? If you have more innovators and leaders, you would be running the company and growing it without depending on you, because they'll be running it. But if you have more contributors and passengers where you need to constantly try to push them, then it doesn't matter how great the system is, you will always be stuck in that level. Step number 5, this is the last step. You need to start operating. Now that you know how to resource allocate, now that you know that culture and values are important and you have defined it, and then the third thing is that you know what targets you want to hit and you have the right people in place, now you need to start operating. And these are the simple structure. There's 4 different type of meetings that you can create, and you can strategically place them into your calendar and run them. Meeting number 1 is your monthly meeting, right? What do? You start with fun. A work should be fun. Growing companies should be fun. Don't let anybody tell you that it should be, like high pressure and, it's not fun and things like that. It can be high pressure and still fun. So start with fun. And what do you do next is that you review monthly numbers. This is where the KPI step number 3 comes in. Okay. So review the monthly numbers, discuss the reasons for variations against their target. If some numbers goes down, what's the reason? If some numbers goes up, what's the reason? And from there, uncover insights from the previous month. All right. And get the team to suggest the top 1 to 3 proposals to resolve the issues. And if there's any successes, replicate if needed. And lastly, this is the most important thing. Document everything in your tools, your tasks. All right. Document all the tasks in the tools. It can be Asana, it could be Airtable, it could be any type of tools. So this is a monthly meeting. All right. And you see things from monthly perspective. Next, you have weekly meeting. And it is almost the same as the monthly meeting, but you change the perspective into much more execution from the perspective of weekly execution. Daily meeting is also similar, but instead of a weekly view or a monthly view, you basically look at things from the lens of daily views. So ask questions like what happened yesterday and what did we learn yesterday and what can we learn from it and adapt it today. And lastly, you have your one-on-one. This is controversial because some founders are not advocating it, some are advocating it. My only take is basically this: try it out and see whether or not it fits into your style. I personally find one-on-one to be effective when managing people's emotions, and that's the most important thing. What do you talk about in one-on-one? Number 1 is that you want to start with fun again, all right? Talk about something that makes them happy, something that makes you happy. Loosen up the environment, making it fun. The second thing is that you need to understand them as a person. One-on-one is less about the work. It's all about the person. What is their personal or professional challenges? What do they like? What do they not like? And this session is for you to build relationships. And this is especially critical if you're running remote teams. And once you do that, you create the bond, the relationship, which in turn creates a lot more trust. And when you have high trust team, you move faster and you have less of politics. And lastly, once you understand these people, you will design a roadmap with them to resolve any problems together. And there's a tool that we use called 90-day success plan, in which I'll show you in another video. So this is a summary of how you go from founder-led to system-led. And how do you go from $1 million per year into tens or hundreds of million dollars per year? Number 1 is changing your mindset. Think like an investor. Think in terms of resource allocation and returns rather than day-to-day operations. Second thing, define the culture. And these are the hardest driver of operations. They might seem soft, but they're the hardest. And attracting the right people and guiding decisions without your constant input relies on having clear values. Third thing, hiring innovators and leaders just so you can have team members who can think by themselves, strategically take initiative and drive the results independently. Fourth, streamline your KPI, making it so simple so that everybody knows their target and they know that they're accountable for it. And lastly, operate with the right meeting cadence so that information flows efficiently, decisions get made promptly, and the business runs smoothly without you. I hope this information helps. It works. and I'm looking forward to seeing your business grow with it.